Hey, Art.
Hey, Doug. Gonna be a busy night.
Yep. There we go.
Gentlemen. Hey, Luther.
Hi, Luther.
Copy where Lisa will explain something to her. And
Email.
she'll lay out and say, Lisa, I've been in this business, I'm gonna go say, I know what you need me to do, I'm gonna do it. Then she gets into it. Oh, Lisa, when I get to this point, what do you want me to say? So now she's listening to Lisa more. So I don't know if she'd ever become a permanent person because she is toxic. And I think that's in someone's nature. But for right now, thank God we have extra hands because she doesn't have to.
I sent it at 4:30.
Oh, there it is on there. I thought you were going. Oh, no. What's it on?
It's the ag commission. Yeah.
Oh, agriculture.
Come sit down, please.
I thought she was in that picture. What a team you guys are.
Yeah, she sets it all up. I have to turn the light on though. That's why it's dark. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, just see you this afternoon, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Hi, Bethany.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. James tells me
How's that,
this was not
big
long
boy
ago.
you got?
Trying to keep him quiet in the background.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Mike.
So we're gonna wait for Sherry.
I
She should
joined.
be here any second. There she is.
Sorry, had some problems, technical difficulties.
It's okay. All right, so it is 7:31. We have everybody here, I think, that we need to have here. Me, Doug, Mike, Luther, and Sherry. 5. Okay. So if anybody else joins as we go along, we will. They can join as we go. So we are being, as I mentioned in the email, we are being recorded. The meeting is being facilitated by our forget his name. Who's the CEO?
Mike D'Amato.
Yes. So I don't know if he is watching or what, but this was some hoops to jump through at the last minute to make this work. But this is going to be an official meeting. The meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the town website. I will be taking the minutes. So I'm going to call the December 16th, 2021 Ashford Agriculture Commission meeting to order. It is 7:33. So seating of alternates. So we'll need to seat our two alternates, Luther and Doug will be seated for this meeting. So we do have a quorum. We have 5. We have no minutes from the last meeting. So there's nothing to approve. Hear from the public. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak? I see a new face, Bethany. You're new to me. I'm Art Talmadge. I'm the chairman.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet
showing up.
you. Not a problem. It's been a while. I came to one a very long time ago, but
Well,
life.
we're glad to have you. We're glad to see a new face.
Thank you.
So communications, I had one brief communication and it was with Mike D'Amato. He forwarded me an email that came from the Grown Connected program, saying that the people from the Grown Connected program couldn't find me. And me, along with Nick and Ginger Jenny and Sherry, are on the Grown Connected Farmer Advisory Board. So I don't know how they couldn't find me, but anyway, we straightened that out. So on to the meat, the old business. So Luther has been working hard on some property tax abatement programs. As everybody knows, just briefly, our farm property tax abatements are driven by state statute, some of which are required by state statute and some of which are optional by the town. So we worked on getting the option for horses and ponies added a few years back, and that worked out. And I thought we had done some work on the vegetable and other farming things, and come to find out, Luther and I found out that it's actually, we didn't do it. So that's part of what Luther's working on. His main meat of what he is working on is there is a state statute allows $100,000 of equipment to be tax-free, property tax-free. And there is an option to add an additional $100,000 worth of equipment. And as we all know, one machine can now cost upward of $500,000. So I think it's timely. So I sent that stuff around and I didn't hear any comments back. Luther and Doug did a little work on it and did a little editing. And so I think does anyone have anything they need to add, or Luther, you want to explain anything more?
So just briefly, I wonder, would it be at all beneficial for me to share my screen and just run through a couple of the key points on the language?
That'd probably be a good idea.
Okay. Oh, and Mike has screen sharing turned off. So I guess I won't be able to share my screen. That's unfortunate. So
Art, can you share as the host?
when I go to share, it just says that the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to talk around it a little bit.
Okay.
So what Art touched on is entirely accurate. The pieces of language that I've pulled together are suggestive representative changes to the town ordinance. So the way this would have to be affected is that the Board of Selectmen would have to be convinced of the justification for these ordinance changes, and then it would be an ordinance for the town. So it would go to public hearing. We would have to support it at public hearing, try to rally support from the community, and then it would become a town ordinance. So we have a good timeline to achieve that at this point, because this only has to take effect before the next October 1 grand list is established. So we've got some time to pull this together in. The one ordinance is a completely new piece of language, in that there's nothing on the town ordinance list that we would be modifying. It would be a completely from scratch new ordinance that would allow for the additional $100,000 exemption. It has the same requirements as the state, as per the state law, that you have to be a farm, and you have to be able to document at least 15,000 in gross sales, or at least 15,000 in expenses related to farming, to be able to qualify for it. And then it's just a simple, it's all the same application we currently fill out. Those of us that pursue the exemptions, there would be no additional paperwork for the farming community for that one. So that one's is very straightforward. I think that's an easy win. I think it's inadequate. I think the state needs to, have a $200,000 per piece exemption when things cost what they do. But such is life. This is what we can do, and I think it's really worth doing. The second one gets into, I expect a little more pushback from this one. Many years ago, in 2005, before the creation of this commission, the town adopted an ordinance titled Town Ordinance 253-3, abatements for dairy farms, orchards, and vineyards. The state statute allows this abatement to be applied to vegetable farms, non-traditional farms, and nurseries as well as the dairy farms, orchards, and vineyards. So I have no idea why the town elected to not be inclusive of the language when they adopted the ordinance. I didn't live here then, so I certainly wouldn't have been paying attention. I've done a fair bit of research on this. The language is not great language that the ordinance is written to. It's very subjective language. There's not a lot of fact-based or empirical reasoning for why the conditions are what they are. And unfortunately, in looking this up, I believe that this is a case of one town did this first. I don't know which town did this first. And every other town that I've been able to find language on has replicated the same exact language, with the exception of Coventry. Coventry has language that's better. It's still not wonderful. However, it is somewhat better, for whatever that's worth. So that gives us a little something to point to, because Coventry has no expiration that's built in, where every other town in our area has a built-in expiration. But there's some really, really foolish language in the town ordinance, including proof of farming, and if the person applying is a tenant and not the owner, then they have to have a lease of at least 3 years before they can apply. So the lease has to be a duration of at least 3 years. But then the lease must require the tenant to pay all the taxes on the farm, which I think is ridiculous. I think that if the town is going to insist on having a long duration lease, that's one thing, but to have conditions like that, I think are nonsensical. And then they go into a long drawn off list of factors as to how they approve this. And I've proposed striking almost all of that.
So you're
And
looking at rewriting the ordinance and adding in those
Yeah.
few things.
yeah, so we want to do a rewrite. We want to add in the new uses, and this will need to be both of these efforts will need to go to Board of Selectmen. The second one here with the abatements for 50% of property taxes will need to go also to the Board of Finance, because those are the two entities that approve the applications. It's my recommendation that we also engage with the Economic Development Commission. Are they a commission or a committee? I think they're a committee. But I
Yeah.
think if they want to be able to wear the mantle of promoting business in town, then they should do that for farm businesses as well and help us lobby for support.
So what do you think your next steps are, Luther?
My next steps are if there is a motion brought up tonight to move forward with the language as proposed, then the next step is to submit the language to those committees and commissions and boards, to the boards and the committee, and get on their agendas to speak to the language. I think that there's no reason to beat around the bush with this. If we think that this language is a good starting point, then I think it's worth letting them disprove that, and that we don't need to try to make any arguments for them as to why this might be a challenge. Let's just get it up to them and start a back and forth and start a process for it, because we may not get exactly what this is. I purposefully tried to be very generous to farming in the community, and they may push back a little bit, but I think we have to get started on it.
Okay, so anybody have any questions for Luther?
Luther, do you know what they're defining a non-traditional farm as for the abatement?
So I don't, and I think that works to our advantage. And I purposefully left language out of my proposed ordinance changes, specifically to try and not define any of these things. So the basis for how these abatements are applied, or granted is a better word, is that the farmer applies for them. And it is the burden of proof, the way the statute is written, the burden of proof is on the farmer to say, I am this, I now qualify for up to 50%. Here is why you should give it to me. And I think that in the future, this could be a service that the Ag Commission can really help people with, that if people want to try to pursue these abatements, that we can be a service to lend credibility to their pursuit of it. If that makes sense, if there's consensus rather to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's see. So can I, so I think we should move forward. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to move forward with the tax abatement proposal as presented tonight, as written, to the boards and commissions that Luther recommended.
So moved.
So moved. Mike Sabiga, a second?
I'll
I'll second
Art.
it. I'm not-
Luther
Yeah.
seconded it.
Sure.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? It passes unanimously. So Luther, green light.
Excellent.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
next
Thanks,
on the
Luther.
list is,
You're doing a good job on that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to help.
we
Oh,
started
Paul
on the
just-
vegetable and
Paul
non-traditional
just,
stuff, and
Paul just
And,
messaged me that he's having trouble getting in.
who's that?
Paul just messaged me that he's having trouble getting in.
He has to go to the agenda Zoom link. Is he trying to go to the other one?
I'm messaging him back.
So we can keep going. So the
Yep.
so the membership part, big changes here. So I had some phone conversations the other night. Had a long talk with John Alpe and Dan Zychek, each of them. John Alpe has resigned. He is no longer interested in having anything to do with the Agriculture Commission. He explained to me that it was not the type of agriculture he was involved in later and earlier in his life, and so he's gonna pass. He's not computer savvy. He doesn't do email. He doesn't want to log in on the internet. So he has resigned. So he's a full membership seat, and he has resigned. Dan Zychek, he has resigned as well. He was, again, his reasoning was he's not computer savvy either. He doesn't have email. He doesn't know how to do the internet. He wants to stay part of the commission and agriculture in town. He's very much wants to stay involved, and told me that he would step aside for now. But when we get back to regular, he said normal, I don't know if we'll ever get there, but when we get back to in-person meetings, he certainly wants to be involved. So I told him we'd get him on the invite list, whatever happens at that time. So he very much wants to stay involved. So I'm gonna need to have a motion to accept John Alape's and Dan Zychek's resignations.
I move to officially accept the resignation of Dan Zychek and John Alpe.
Luther, motion by Luther, second.
Second,
Who was that, Mike?
Mike.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. All right. Now we have two vacant full. We now have two vacant full member seats. Our two alternate members have expressed an interest in being moved into those positions, Doug and Luther. So you guys still want to be full members?
Certainly.
Yes, Art.
Okay, so a motion to, let's see. A motion to have for Doug Jenny and Luther Brow to fill the two vacant full member seats that were left open by the resignations of Dan Zychek and John Alpe.
So moved.
Mike Sabiga, second.
I can second it.
Sherry Simpson. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Nays? Paul Vargas here. He's just in time. Unanimous. All right.
Paul, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with getting the revision language sent out to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
Okay,
All right. So,
I'll wait to see it. I've actually read it, but it looked fine, so.
so sadly, we lost Carl Faltzgraf last spring. We did do a little bit of work on replacing Carl with Paul. Those were pretty much unofficial meetings. So tonight being a full official meeting, thanks for, did you try to go to the other Zoom meeting, Paul?
I don't know, I think it's my iPad. I'm literally in 3 meetings at the same time right now, all right, so, and I'm working, so if I disappear all of a sudden, it's nothing personal.
All right, well, we're gonna make you official here in a minute. So a motion to have Paul Varga fill the vacancy created by the loss of Carl Falsgraf. It's a full membership seat.
So moved.
Moved, yep, there you go. Mike can have that one.
Mike Sabiga, second.
I'll second it.
Luther. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. We're ticking them off. All right, so now that we have moved Luther and Doug out of their alternate seats and into full membership seats, we have 2 vacant alternate seats, which we should fill tonight. Nick Weinstock volunteered to come on board. Is Nick still here?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't see him. Okay. So Nick volunteered. Is it still, are you still on board, Nick?
Sure.
All right. Can I have a motion to accept Nick Weinstock into one of the vacant alternate seats?
So moved.
Mike Sabiga. Second?
Second.
I'll second.
I think Sherry beat you.
Okay.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. All right, we have one more vacant seat. Alternate seat. That I would ask for volunteers. Anybody want to grab it? Bethany, Meg,
I will
Hello?
volunteer.
Meg?
Unless Bethany is definitely
Bethany,
wants
you
it,
and
but I
Meg want to fight for it?
Pass on the fighting opportunity. Hopefully I'll attend more meetings now, but I'll just sit in the back seat for a while. It's all you.
Okay.
Beth.
Very good.
All right.
Well, okay. So Meg has stepped up. So we are going to have a motion to fill the second vacant alternate seat with Meg Brow. I hope I'm saying your last name right.
No.
It's Brow. 'Cause the way I always, the way I always tell people is like brow, like eyebrow with a K. Think of it
Brow.
that way.
Okay,
Brow. Yeah.
Meg Brow into the second vacant alternate seat. Can I have a motion for that?
So
I'll make
moved.
the motion on it.
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to do that.
I'll make the
Gotcha.
motion. I think. Can
Not
I
called
make the
nepotism.
motion, right?
Okay.
Technically, Paul, you can't vote yet.
I was gonna ask
Technically.
you, okay.
So Sherry moved, second.
Second.
I'll second.
Mike Sabiga. Gotta be a little faster there, Doug.
Yeah, I
All
know.
those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. All right, we have filled all of our vacant seats.
Holy smokes, that's more work than we've done in months.
Actually, I was looking, I think it's been almost 2 years. I think it was late December. It was either December of 2019 or January of 2020 when we had our last official meeting, and then COVID hit and everything came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
So, officers for next year and going forward. So Mike Sabiga and I have both had one hell of a run. It's been 13 years in March. So we have decided that it's time to pass the torch. Doug, Jenny, and Luther Brow have graciously, spectacularly stepped up to the plate and offered to take the spot. But are there any, I have to ask, are there any nominations other than Luther and Doug for the position of chair and vice chair for the Ashford Agriculture Commission? Any other nominations? Hearing none, I would like to have a motion to accept the slate as presented. Luther Brow for chair, Doug Jenny for vice chair of the Ashford Agriculture Commission.
I think
So
that's you,
moved.
Sherry.
Gotcha. So
Sherry
moved.
Simpson. A second,
Second.
Mike Sabiga. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Luther, you and Doug can vote for yourselves, you know.
I was gonna ask, Meg, you can't
Yeah.
vote yet until the close of this meeting.
Well, technically, the new people can't vote until the board, I'll get into that.
Until the
So-
roll is posted. Yeah.
Well, until I get, hold on. So, did I do everything? And
Yeah.
we had a second, Mike
Oh.
Sabiga second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Congratulations, Chair and Vice Chair elect.
Thank you.
Woo!
You are now on the spot.
Congratulations and thank you to you and Mike for all your years of service.
Yes, thank you, guys.
It was a thrill a minute. All right, so the action items for our next meeting, oh, is there any new business anyone wants to bring forward at this time? No. Did I hear something? No, okay. So the action items for the next meeting, Luther and Doug will be chair and vice chair. Luther will probably bring us up to date on where he is with the tax things. That's pretty much it. What I will be doing next is I will email the membership changes to the Board of Selectmen, and it will go on to their agenda, and they will vote to approve. I don't see any issue why they wouldn't approve what we've done. It'll be all spelled out very clearly and carefully for them. And once the Board of Selectmen vote, then everybody who was moved around, you will be officially in your spot and able to vote at all the meetings, and you will be members of the Agriculture Commission. So, or full members from alternates. So, yeah, so we crossed a lot of T's and dotted a lot of I's here tonight. It's been a long time in limbo.
To that end, Art, if I can for a sec, just to, we are going to have agenda items probably for the next several months is my hope. If we can get some response out of these boards and committees with the tax revisions. So I'll loop everybody in as those materialize, and we'll get those, on our agenda for future meetings as they come up. If anyone comes across anything of interest or thinks of anything of interest that we can do to be supportive of agriculture, if you're talking to people in production, if you're talking to people that just have thoughts, feel free to kick that over to me. If you don't have my cell phone, let me know and I'll get it to you. And yeah, hopefully we can have a pretty impactful winter season before we all get crazy busy again with spring production.
So what I'll have to do is I'll have to get all the contact information for you, Luther, for the people at the town hall that you need to email meeting notices and all that stuff too. And we should probably, if we do go on the agenda, or when we go on the agenda for the Board of Selectmen, some of us should probably try to be there, if not all of us that are members, just to show support.
Yep.
And if the info comes to me, I'll get it out. Luther, I have an extensive email list I'll get to you.
Great.
That has about 30 names on it of people who want to stay involved. I just thought of one thing. Oh, one thing we have to work on that's kind of that we didn't get to tonight is we need to get our FFA member back on board. We've been lacking that for quite a while. So pre-COVID.
I did attend the Ag Consulting Committee meeting about a week and a half ago, and I did mention that to the department head, Matt, and he said he was going to look into it and get back to me. So hopefully that will happen.
Awesome.
I told him
Awesome,
a
Mike.
student from
Very good.
Ashford. Right.
All right. So
Hey, before we break out, just since I missed the beginning, are we trying to get that tax stuff in for this fiscal year? For the 22-23 fiscal year, or what's the goal there? And I'm asking as the Board of Finance person, not the Ag Commission person.
so you don't have to go to the Board of Finance, Luther. It's here.
Yeah. So Paul,
I'm everywhere. I'm at the select
Yeah.
meeting too, so.
the goal for this will be to complete this process in time for the development of the 2022 grand list. This won't have any impact on the budget that will be set to start this coming July, because this won't impact anything until the
the 22
October of
grand list will be-
22 grand
It'll be
list.
23-24 budget.
Correct.
Right.
Yep, there's plenty of timeline.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that because in regard to the Board of Finance portion of it, we start our budget process for this coming 22-23 fiscal year next month, July. See, I'm already ahead of myself. January 12th. So it's a pretty crazy time. But the sooner in the month, or the sooner you get something to us, we can talk about it. Doesn't mean it'll actually get pushed through right away, but we at least can put it on the table.
Yeah, both of these will have to eventually end up at town meetings.
Yeah, those are town meeting events.
So that's not going to happen really quickly, but if we don't get these escalated now and go through the revision process, however many times it takes to come to consensus,
Right.
you know, my expectation is that neither of these will be tremendously impactful to the grand list for the town.
I was just gonna say, if you can get a number, some type of numbers for the Board of Finance, that makes it easier for them to process it. But I don't think it's gonna be a huge impact at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can try to talk to Kara about equipment. The abatement for the 50% property tax abatement is going to be a tremendous unknown, because to the best of my knowledge, no one is doing that at the moment.
There's two places.
Maybe Horse Listeners is doing
Horse Listeners and Nolan Farms are the two that are still under abatement.
Yep, but then, so by creating expansion of that, by expanding access, we don't know who's going to be able to successfully petition for that. I think a lot of that's going to come down to people making a gut call as to whether it's worth their time to try to convince the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance that they fit within the categories that are outlined.
But even so, I mean, like for me, if I were to venture down that road, all my property is already under 490. So the actual tax implication on the grand list is still going to be, it won't be that big.
Correct.
You know,
I mean, I think, not to put Nick on the spot, but I don't see any reason in the world why Nick wouldn't chase this option down if it becomes an option. that's not going to, there's not going to cause ruination to the town to have a half a dozen operations on the scale of what Nick is doing, be able to successfully pursue this.
Right.
But it's going to make a huge difference to their bottom line.
Yeah, of course it is. Every dollar counts. So, and I just want to know from my Board of Finance part, like what the timeline you were looking at so that I know how to prep these people for it.
Yeah, and I'm going to make myself completely available to both the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen and to the EDC. And I'll pull together. She should be just about done with the grand list from this past year. So hopefully we can have some fairly new numbers to be able to pull that together with.
Sounds good. Thanks, Luther.
Happy to do it.
All right. Anyone have anything else? So as my last official act as the chairman of the Ashford Agriculture Commission, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Sherry Simpson, Mike Sabiga. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for coming, Bethany. Welcome aboard, Paul. And
Merry
Nick
Christmas,
and Meg.
everyone.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Doug and Luther. See everybody soon.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
All right.
Hey, Luther, before you go out, Luther.
Yep.
You told me you didn't like those Keen shoes, and I kind of agree with you. Now mine are falling apart. Then you mentioned another brand, but I don't remember the brand. What's the best brand?
The best brand is yet to be found, I think, but I've been having better luck with Merrell's.
Okay, Merrell's, okay. I'll
Yeah,
check
they're
it out.
having better luck with Merrell's, and beyond that, there's an Italian boot company named Oslo, ASOLO, and they're very expensive, but they're very good.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'll check them out.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Good luck with it.
You all know you're being recorded, right?
Fine. This is agriculture.
It is agriculture.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.